Hi, I'm Kat, and I read a lot of romance books. So today I'm going to be telling you which books that are not romance or worth it. We'll be discussing everything from what a 55-year-old white man would read and New York Times bestsellers. So let's begin. Starting off strong, we have a book that someone probably named either Bartholomew, Archibald, Gerald, Bob, John, or any white male name would read. Horse. This book is supposed to be for the woke white males, seeing them be like, oh, look at me reading about horses and young people. If you like betting on horses or gambling at all, you should read this one. But if you don't and like romance, I would not read this because the little itty bitty part of romance in this is incredibly stale and feels like a millennial trying to write Gen Z romance. Next, we have The Women by Kristin Hannah. This book, I gotta say, I went into this thinking there was gonna be no romance, and it did deliver on that front. Definitely read this one if you are a upper 20s, trying to like get back into reading, you're like really woke, trying to get into like war lore. So yeah, I would read this if you fit that description, or are a mom of 2+ children who want to seem cool at your book club. Definitely one for the mothers, for the people who are trying to get educated, definitely people who are fascinated by Vietnam or know someone has been in Vietnam or war in general. This is for the feminist women type, and you know I already fit all those descriptions. Also, I really like this cover because it's red. Next, we have The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I gotta say, I read this in one night, a 2-hour time span, absolutely devouring Dorian. Anyways, this book, it's about a narcissist. So if you got any narcissists in your life and are a teenager who probably knows a narcissist and are trying to figure out their characteristics, clock them, understand them completely, I would read this one. On my Goodreads account, I really cooked with my review on this. So I'll put that in the description if I know how. If you're a teen who really wants to feel knowledgeable and better than everybody else in a room, I would read this one. Next, we have Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus. This book, it was pretty good for the time. However, the only reason that you should read this is A, if you're a chemist geek and also like to cook and you think that's like a really big niche for you, that combo, then I would definitely read this. I would also read this if you really want to watch the Hulu show about this and are like, the book is always better than the show, and like you just need this for that complex. I would also read this if you are 60+-year-old woman. Next, we have every single book I've read by Jodi Picoult. These books, Chef's Kiss, would read again, any age range. If you have a high enough Lexile, you should read every single one of these books. We have Leaving Time by Jodi Picoult. This is about a sidekick elephant. So if you really like elephants, I would read this book. Also, if you have trauma. The book is Small Great Things. I think this is her most popular one. It's about racism. So if you're trying to understand racism, then this is, you can just look it up on any New York Times article. But if you need a thick copy of a book to learn about racism, you should read this one. Next is Mad Honey. This book is about a murder trial. So if you're like one of those people who love those true crime podcasts, I would read this one. Also, it talks about bees. So if you love bees, you should read it because the mom's a beekeeper. Next, we have Little Fires Everywhere. This book is for the people who want to read about unhinged families and arson. If you like any of those things, preferably not the second one because that's very niche interest of yours if you like kerosene. I would definitely recommend it for the age ranges of 25 to 45. I feel like that exact age range would really spark an interest for you. Next, we have my boy Stephen King. I've read 3 of his books now. I read Misery, Billy Summers, and The Stand. Out of those 3, this is probably the figurehead / my favorite. This one had pictures. I really It had like 3 pictures in it and they were extremely well done. And I feel like AI will never be able to reach that much potential. Misery, please don't read that one. That is gruesome, disgusting. Tell me why she cut off his ankles. Girl, you need those to walk. Billy Summers, I'm recommending that to all the men over 50 who feel like, oh, I'm so cool reading. That's about a retired assassin who's doing one last job. So if you like killing, The Matrix, all that kind of stuff, you'd vibe with that. The Stand though, I was sick while reading this, and that was pretty humbling. That was pretty humbling, because it's about a super flu that kills off the entire population. I was not a fan of that. Yeah, I think like around 4 to 5 chapters of this were probably the most exquisite reading I've ever read in my entire life. A lot of lore, a lot of day-to-day slice of life. I really like this. Next, we have Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. This book, it was a lot of like, okay, calm down. We get it, he lived in a trailer park and ruined his whole life with drugs. This book is for people who also like Kentucky. If you like that like yeehaw country. Age range, you might be asking, I would say a good 37 to 49. I feel like the second you get into your 50s, you're like, okay, this is too much lore for my life. I was a 6'4", so if height matters to you, then you would probably like the main character. He was also peaked in middle school. I really resonated with that. Next, we have Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Cosby. I could not recommend this enough to no one. Made me sad. It was like every time I had to pick it up, I just felt like, okay, why am I doing this to myself? This book is for 16-year-old boys hopped on testosterone or 65-year-old men. That exact age. Nothing older, nothing less older, just 65. And for our final book, we have The Book Thief. This book, read for school, and I feel like the school ate a little too hard with this book. It was so sad. Like I think I cried many, many times at that last few chapters. It's like every time I think about this book, I just feel like parts of my soul like ripping off. It's that devastating. It's a little thick. It's a lot of information for young minds. So I would say 14 to 38. That would be the age range I'd give for this one. Because for that age, like you're still pubescent, you're still trying to understand the world, and by 38, I think like you've just like, that's the end of your development. So yeah, I liked it. And the romance, I liked it a lot. I actually love this book. 5 stars. Would recommend it if anyone asked. Thank you for watching this video of a seasoned romance reader talking about books that she calls her academic comeback every time she reads them. Yeah, make sure if you read any of these books or have read any of these books, make sure you tell me in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe and push those notifications. If you made it this far in the video, please comment your favorite book. For watching.